All right, buckle up, parents. We're going on a ride. Think every summer, millions of families load up the cooler, they head to the cookout, they watch the fireworks. And for a lot of parents, that sounds wonderful. But if you got a child who covers their ears the second the fireworks start, who spirals after eating poolside snacks, who's a completely different kid for days after the 4th of July, this holiday probably isn't the highlight of your summer. It's something you quietly dread. Here's what I want you to know right now. Your child's meltdown isn't a behavior problem. It isn't about being spoiled. It isn't about your parenting. It is a nervous system problem. And the research finally tells us exactly why it happens and what we can actually do about it. This video is for parents who are exhausted from watching their child fall apart at events that are supposed to be fun and who are ready to stop guessing and start understanding what's really happening inside their child's brain and body. Today, we're talking about a number of things. We're going to talk about why red dye 40 does far more than cause a sugar rush. We're going to talk about the science on this and it's more alarming than most parents realize. We're going to talk about why fireworks and sensory heavy environments are a neurological event and not just an overstimulation issue. We're going to highlight how these two stressors, when they hit at the same time, create more chaos within your child's nervous system, and why some kids fall apart at fireworks shows while other kids love it, and what the difference actually is. And finally, we're going to talk about the path forward. We're not just going to talk about all of these things, but actually show what you can start doing right now to help your child genuinely regulate and not just survive. We see it every single summer. A parent comes in after the 4th of July and says some version of the same thing. We had a great morning, and then it just fell apart. Popsicles and sports drinks at the cookout, fireworks at 9 p.m., and within minutes, their child is screaming, inconsolable, and completely unreachable, with disrupted sleep and elevated behaviors lasting for days, sometimes weeks. And here's what surprises most families when we explain nothing went wrong in the way that they're thinking. So let's unravel this and discover what's going on underneath the hood with first talking about artificial food coloring. Let's talk about red dye 40, right? The research is showing it. There's a randomized controlled trial in Lancet that found that artificial colors, food colors, significantly increased hyperactivity in children across all age groups. And this is what prompted Europe and the FDA to provide essentially warning labels and take additional action on Red 40 last year in 2025. And California's own health assessment confirmed that these dyes can cross the blood-brain barrier in developing children. That's a big deal. To put it practically, like that red popsicle at noon, it wasn't just sugar. It was a chemical priming the nervous system for overload hours before the fireworks even started. Red dye 40 is widely the most used artificial food coloring in the US, and it's at every 4th of July party. There's popsicles, there's sports drinks, there's candy, there's ketchup, fruit snacks, flavored yogurt, right? It's everywhere. And you might be like, hey, Dr. Jeremy, chill out. It's just a fruit snack, it's just a drink. And I know for some of us, it's just that, right? But working with kids and families whose systems respond negatively to those dyes, who are affected for weeks afterward after consuming these petroleum based chemicals. It's a very real contributing factor to a child's well being. Red 40 doesn't just cause hyperactivity, it triggers neuroinflammation, it disrupts neurotransmitter function, and it causes your gut to become leaky. It causes intestinal permeability. Like that's significant. Roughly 80% of a nerve, vagus nerve fibers, it's the nerve from your brain to your body, they carry information from the gut to the brain, sensory input. So when Red 40 disrupts nervous system regulation, this isn't just a food issue, right? It's a neurological one. Because when you think of the nervous system, think of it like an air traffic control system. In a well regulated nervous system, sensory input flows smoothly. The brain filters what matters and it dampens out what doesn't. But when you throw in a 4th of July celebration, it's going to be a big one this year, right? 250 years, which to be honest, like it's a full on Sensory assault. You got fireworks at 150 plus decibels, fire engines, sirens, crowds, flashing lights, smoke, heat, and a disrupted sleep schedule. Like these are all happening at once. So when the nervous system is already dysregulated, gas pedal floored, brake pedal barely working, that input creates a massive neurological traffic jam. There's just so much. And the child melts down. They try to escape or they shut down completely. And you see it. It's the signs of a child experiencing sensory overload. Like they're covering their ears at fireworks, they're refusing to eat, their stomach doesn't feel good, their aggression or their clinginess in crowds, it's changing. And an emotional breakdown during or after an event, it's leading to the sleep disruption. It's leading to the dysregulation for days afterward. Again, the meltdown isn't about the fireworks. It's about a nervous system already overwhelmed before the family left the house. The fireworks are just the final straw. And at this point, you might be saying, okay, I hear you, but why do some kids react and others don't? Two kids eat the same red dye filled 40 popsicle, one is fine and the other spirals. Two kids watch the same fireworks, one loves it and the other breaks down. The difference isn't willpower or parenting. Again, it's the nervous system. More specifically, how that nervous system developed and what were the influences on its development. We call this the perfect storm. When stress, when prenatal stress, when birth trauma stress, when early childhood stressors that accumulate and disrupt neurological development from the very beginning of life, it's stress on stress on stress that changes how a child perceives their world, but more importantly, how they respond and develop to it. Because each layer of this stress, you have the difficult delivery, you have early antibiotic use, chronic ear infections, colic, reflux. All of this causes the body to adapt in a negative way, in a way that continues to keep the system stuck in a stressed state, in stress mode. It adapts in a way that continues to stress the system out. We call it subluxation. It's a neurological interference, it's a stressor from the body that disrupts the function of the nervous system. It disrupts the regulation and the ability of the nervous system to adapt. When there's subluxation in the system, it leads to an imbalance. It's called dysautonomia within the nervous system. It's an imbalance between the sympathetic gas pedal and the parasympathetic brake pedal that leaves the child without the neurological reserves to handle what other kids handle easily. Their tank was drained before they got to the event. They're using energy stores that are meant for tomorrow, and they're scraping at the bottom of the barrel to show up today. And that's why management strategies can only go so far. If the nervous system has a hole in it, you can bail water all day and still be sinking. The real work happens at the foundation, at the nervous system. So take a child who's gone through the perfect storm, put them in those festive and chemical scenarios, and you get a double assault, right? You get a double whammy when the chemical and the sensory input hit at the same time. And what that looks like practically, like that's red dye 40 loaded popsicles at noon, fireworks at 150 decibels at 9 p.m., crowds and sirens in between, and a child who walked into that party already running on a nervous system deficit. Artificial dyes, they attack from the chemical side. They disrupt the gut, they trigger inflammation, compromising the gut brain axis. And then the sensory overload attacks from the neurological side, flooding the brainstem with input that a dysregulated nervous system cannot process. They both hit the same target, the autonomic nervous system and the vagus nerve, the ability for the nervous system to regulate. And when they hit simultaneously, the combined effect is greater than either one alone. And this is why so many parents say their child is a completely different kid for days after the 4th of July. The nervous system is in a prolonged recovery state, not just like from a single bad night. And that brings us to the path forward. We can talk about it, but what can we actually do about it? How can we restore nervous system regulation because short term strategies matter. Read labels and avoid red 40, yellow 5, yellow 6, right? Bring noise canceling headphones, have a quiet exit plan, protect sleep. But these only manage the load, they don't fix the foundation. This is where we come in with insight scanning technology. This is what changes the conversation. When we can actually look at and measure the nervous system using something called HRV, something called SCMG, and thermography, neurological neurologically focused chiropractors, we get an objective measurable picture of how the nervous system is actually functioning. With these scans we can help see and identify where the nervous system is stuck. What's causing that sympathetic overdrive? What's causing the vagus nerve function to be shut down? And where is that subluxation? Where is that interference to their nervous system, the pattern keeping their nervous system stuck? Now, this isn't a silver bullet. Neurologically focused chiropractic care is not a cure for any condition. What we're doing is working to restore the underlying regulation that affects how children process their environment. So that when the brake pedal side of their nervous system, along with the gas pedal, starts working together, we can see parents can see consistently the changes that go far beyond just surviving a holiday. They see their child have more good days. They see their children go from one who's closed off to one who's open again, to showing more personality in life. When we can help the nervous system get back into healing mode, into rest and regulate mode, they do that. We're not just helping kids cope with a dysregulated nervous system. We're working to regulate the nervous system itself, to build stronger connections within the nervous system that keep it regulated. So when that foundation shifts, sleep, digestion, transitions, and sensory tolerance all shift with it. So, parents, if this video is connecting the dots you've been trying to piece together for months or years, I want you to know your child isn't too sensitive. Their nervous system is telling you exactly what it needs. And there is a path forward. It starts by getting an objective look at how the nervous system is actually functioning. Click the link in our bio, send us a DM, reach out to us, or schedule directly at risinghealth.com with our team at Rising Health in Knoxville. This 4th of July, your family deserves more than survival mode, right? To enjoy it, to be a part of it, and not to fear it. They deserve answers. They deserve a way forward.